Hello everybody, welcome back to WiscoTrains and my layout, the modern Green Bay and Western. And today we're going to weather a boxcar, and for the first time I'm going to use weathering powders, chalk to weather. For comparison, these are the exact same two boxcars. I got these boxcars at Towtown Train Show last year. They're old school WiscoTrains. I still got the box for them. You can tell that the box was pretty old. I don't have the wrapping anymore, but I'm pretty sure the original price was like $9.97. I think I paid $20 for them. So, yeah, I mean, we think we're wasting money on this hobby, but it appears this is possibly all an investment that's going to appreciate. Or at least that's what I'm going to tell my wife. Anyways, so pretty decent looking boxcars. I mean, they're not as good as, like, say, this TTX one back here for WiscoTrains nowadays, but they're still pretty good. So this one I weathered completely with dry brushing, and I put some graffiti on it. But this one I want to try doing weathering powders. So some things that I will change just before we even get to the products I'm using. The wheel sets are going to get changed. These things are pizza cutters. They don't run very well on the Code 55 trackage, especially over the switches and the frogs. Not the end of the world. I'm going to use some Intermountain 36-inch wheels. Hopefully these fit on them. I've had problems in the past when I change out my wheel sets from plastic to metal with them not being quite the right size, but not the end of the world. Some other products we're going to use would be the, I've talked about these before, first time I've gotten them, obviously. These Monroe models powder set. This is the dirt and rust. So we got Delta dirt, dry mud, and medium rust. So that should be enough to make a pretty good looking boxcar, I think. I got Blair Line and Microsol decals for graffiti. Probably gonna, I haven't decided which ones will go on here, but this one's got a lot of tags on it, so we might use that. Some Testors dull coat from Hobby Lobby, because you need that. And then for reference, we're going to be using, oh boy, let's see if we can get that in focus. We're going to be using P.L. Soberg's Done in a Day, a well-worn book that I got sometime in high school. So let's move on to the first step. Okay, so here we are in the dungeon of a garage I got. I'm sure somewhere on this Testors dull coat it says do this in an area with good ventilation. So anyways, moving on to spraying it, we're going to give her a quick spray. It seems to be the right way to start this out and give the chalk something to adhere to. I think this is a quite appropriate stand for a YouTube video or YouTube channel called WiscoTrains. Okay, the wheels are off of this, so we're just going to go let it dry and we'll go work on the new wheels. Okay, so while we let that dry, we're going to go to the next step here at my very clean workbench. I'm using some apple barrel nutmeg. I'm just going to paint the side of these wheels, give them a bit of a dirty, rusty look to them. And then those should be good to go. That's about all I usually do. I know some people like to paint the axles themselves, but I just paint the sides because that's all I really care about. Okay. Pretty easy operation here. Okay. And this is the last wheel set. Yeah, and we can let those dry. Okay, so we got the dull coat dry. It does look duller, so that's good. Something I like to do on all my locomotives and stuff, freight cars, is to cut down these air hoses. So I just trim them down so they're not so big and unwieldy and getting in the way of stuff. One snip. And second snip. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start off here, first attempt here, with Delta Dirt. Figured dirt, grimy. That makes sense, that would be kind of covering the whole thing. So Let's see. I don't know. You guys are going to learn along with me here how we're going to go about this. So I do want it to be pretty well dirty. This is an old car in the fleet, obviously. I figure I'm going to do it kind of like I would if I was dry brushing. So it actually looks pretty good. I toned down that door a bit. And oops. There we go. Around to the ends. A bit of the stuff that's fallen. I think we're gonna go in for another scoop here. Maybe just this stuff here. See how. Ooh, that is too much. Well, like I said, this is an older car, so it's gonna be pretty grimy and stuff. But that might be just a little too much for me. But apparently, the dull coat dulls it down quite a bit once you spray it again to seal in. So hopefully we do well in that sense. And we're going to give the roof a coat. Go down the center like this. And I'm going to make it look even. Yeah, this would be a fairly old box car in the fleet. I believe the built date is in the 70s. So for the modern Green Bay and Western, we're going to have try to get some of that out of the detail there, but actually doesn't look too bad with the detail there. Okay, I'm gonna go take it out and spray it again. So while the second coat of dull coat is dry, I'm gonna try to preserve some of this. I don't know if this is recommended, but I think since I'm using this piece of paper underneath, oops, could probably salvage some of it for later use. But even if some other little things get in there, like I just see I got a little piece of plastic in there, but that's not the end of the world. So this is what it looks like after the first coat of dull coat has dried. I think maybe I kind of overdid it, but like I said earlier, I wanted it to be quite an older car, so actually I'm kind of okay with it. I think it looks pretty good. The roof looks pretty decent, and what I like about it as opposed to dry brushing is it's just so much finer looking, which makes sense that it would be finer, but it just doesn't look like streaks of paint or anything, even though I think my dry brushing looks good enough. But yeah, so I'm going to put some rust on the roof here, I think. Maybe touch a little rust here on the bottom. And then we can go ahead and start putting some graffiti on this thing. So let's do that. So we'll be using medium rust for the roof and the sides here. I don't want to use too much. So I learned my lesson, I think. Okay, so here we are. This is kind of the finished product when it comes to the weathering I'm going to do. So the roof, I did 2 more coats of rust and a little bit of black on the top. So 3 coats all together to kind of get that effect, to make it look like a real rusty roof. I figured you guys didn't need to see that multiple times. You can figure out from the first attempt how it went. Overall, pretty good looking. I think this side kind of turned out better, honestly. This side almost has a bit of a, like, how do I put it? Like, when you do a wash and the tension is still there, almost looks like there's water bubbles. But I think overall, it looks pretty good. So next up, we're going to do decals. So back to the model. I think what we're going to do is on one side, I'm going to have decals essentially going all the way along the bottom here for the graffiti to make one side look pretty graffitied. And the other side, I'm going to probably kind of mostly focus on these 2 areas, and then probably some up on the top edges. So let's talk decals. I'm gonna put some pictures here of some TTX boxcars, specifically older 50-foot TTX boxcars. I think they're probably kind of the most similar in color and in era as this GB and W boxcar. These are all photos that I've taken, and those are kind of the reference points I'm going to use for decal placement. What do I use for decaling? So we talked about the Blair line and the Microsol decals. A little bit of lukewarm water and Solvaset, and something to cut the stuff out, and usually a pair of tweezers are my tools. So let's watch that. Okay, so starting off here, I think we're going to use these Microsol ones. I'm thinking this one will be the first one. It'll go right here on this side. I'll show you how to do one of these, how I do it, and then I'll do the rest off camera. There's no need for you to watch me to do 4 or 5 of these, but same process for most of these. So first we're going to cut her out. All right. So once it's cut out, you want to try to get as close to the edges as possible. Next step, toss it in the water, and we wait. Okay. It's been sitting in the water for a little bit. I'm sure there's some rules saying don't touch it with your fingers, but it's still attached, so I'll give it a little more time here. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. She's coming off nice and good. It says molded on grab irons. I don't really want this on top of the grab irons because I think that would look obviously unrealistic. So I'm going to use my tweezers here to kind of get it where I want it. So I have this edge right against this post here. That'll be the best spot for it. Then, so it's got to go over all of these posts because it's an exterior post boxcar. So, because of that, we're going to use Solvaset to help set it in and make it work well and snug in there real good. But I find that it's best if you work from one edge to the other with it, kind of trying to get it to work in. So let's bring this in closer where everybody can see it. And the Solvaset's making it a little hard here, but kind of snug it in there. It's going to make it quite delicate, but you can still manipulate it. And if you're good at what you're doing here, you can make it work to the point that if it does tear, you can fix it back up. Okay, so this is after it's been drying for a little bit. As you can see, I put another decal on up here for graffiti. I don't know how well it's showing up there, but it is. It's starting to really snug in around all the posts and the detail on the door. So, yeah, I'm gonna continue on with this mission. One thing I failed to mention is I like to always have a piece of paper towel to kind of blot off either excess water or excess Microsol. I guess Solvaset. This is Walther's Solvaset, but I find that helps to just... Sometimes you put a little too much on there and it just helps to get it off, helps to dry faster, just helps everything move along at a much more convenient pace. I don't know, that side's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to move on to the other side. Okay, I'm fairly happy with the decal placements. I got some little small ones up here, some tags, I got that. And then this is what this side looks like. The Solvaset's working pretty well, so it's really getting inside all those details and stuff, so glad to see that. Just a little bit of tearing. See right there, but I don't think anyone's going to notice that. So last thing I do before I hit this with one more coat of dull coat will be just some dry brushed nutmeg brown Apple Valley, same what we used for the wheels. I'm just gonna go attack those trucks and the couplers, so they don't just look like plain black. And we're gonna let this. We're gonna let this solva set dry real good, and then we're gonna hit it with dull coat and put the wheels on, and we should be good to go here. And I will show you what it looks like when it's finished. Okay, so we are back here on the layout. The freight car is all assembled, and here's how she looks. Overall, pretty glad. I'm glad I got some metal wheels on here. So this is the first time, like I said, using chalks to weather a freight car. You can see in the background, you can see my efforts using dry brushing and not so much washes, but I've used those a lot. Overall, very happy how it turned out. It only took me, I would say, all said and done, probably really only a couple hours, but a lot of that is drying time. So if you're not doing graffiti, that will cut down a lot on your project time here. I would say average freight car you could definitely get done in a weekend, between maybe a couple afternoons, couple evenings. And honestly, if you batched them, you had 4 or 5 freight cars like I do that need to be weathered that are similar, you could easily get 4 or 5 of them done in a weekend and have a pretty decent looking freight car to run on the layout. Thank you all for watching. If you got any suggestions, ways I can improve this process, it'd be greatly appreciated. I think probably the number one thing I would do next time is maybe a smaller paintbrush to apply my chalks, just for a little more control. But thanks for watching. If you made it this far, that's greatly appreciated. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. See you later. Bye.